Happy Saturday, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started with today's live stream momentarily. We'll just give it another minute or so for people to join us. I see we have some people joining us, so welcome. Just as a quick heads up, we're going to be doing a public ticker request session as well. We're going to save that to the end. So if anybody does have any ticker requests, make sure to place them inside the YouTube chat here. Just give me the ticker symbol and then the exchange that it's on as well, because sometimes it's a little bit confusing. But just sit tight and we'll get started in about 30 seconds to a minute. I've also got an extremely important market update for you folks here today, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. It's not the best of news, but the good news is I do think that it's not going to be for a few months yet, but seeing some very, very alarming signals in the broader market. So going to go over this important market overview today, and like I said, going to do some ticker requests at the end if there is any. It is Saturday, so again, happy Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, and give it another 10 to 20 seconds and we'll get started. All right, folks, going to get started with today's live stream. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. In today's live stream, we're going to be doing a crucial and extremely important market update, and then we're going to jump into some ticker requests. I'm going to look at the crypto space, also going to look at the broader market, and like I said, going to save some time at the end for any ticker requests that you guys have. And if you do have any ticker requests, make sure to place them inside the chat with the actual ticker symbol and then the exchange that it's on, just to help move things along a little quicker. If you could, though, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future live streams. And like I said, extremely important update here for you folks today. It's not exactly all sunshine and rainbows, but this is something that we need to be aware of in the everything bubble of 2022. So we're going to compare the everything bubble of 2022 to the .com bubble in the 2000 era, because that is the closest thing that we have to today's bubble and today's market environment. Jumping into the charts here, so the first line of business, I want to cover the crypto space real quickly here. No major red flags. Seeing tons of people online saying that, you know, they're calling bear market. We're definitely in a bear market. Well, how can that be the case when we're in monthly and weekly uptrends still on crypto? Tech stocks and crypto, for the most part, have been in a monthly and weekly uptrend since March 2020. And that is why I hold more crypto in my portfolio than anything else. And I expect that to change over the next few months. Likely going to be holding more MJ. But personally, I've made my fortunes and I've made more money off real estate and crypto over the last 5 to 6 years than anything else in my entire life. And like I said, I think MJ is going to be the next trend, the next big up and coming wave. I think a lot of millionaires are going to be made over the next few years and decade in MJ. That is for sure. So again, we're still in weekly uptrends right now on the weekly time frame. So we have a low, high, higher low, and higher high. We're just scouting a higher low here on Bitcoin, Ethereum. XRP had a double top, so it never actually confirmed a weekly uptrend, but we're just scouting a higher low here, and Litecoin a little bit on the weaker side as well. But if we take a look at the total market cap for the crypto sector, you can see here that we're in weekly uptrends, low, high, higher low, and higher high. So we're just scouting a higher low compared to 1.51 trillion. And again, all you bears out there who are screaming bear market, you're completely just making stuff up at this point, right? Full respect and everything, and no disrespect, but how can we be in a bear market when we have weekly and monthly uptrends, right? The whole definition of a bear market is weekly and monthly downtrends. If we're in monthly uptrends and weekly uptrends, basically, if we confirm daily uptrends right now on Bitcoin, we're in uptrends on pretty much every single time frame. So how can we be in a bear market when we're pretty close to being in uptrends on every single time frame? It just doesn't make any sense. But people get just emotional, right? And they get whatever way the price is going, that's the way they think that, that's the way they think they should act. If it's going down, I should be bearish. If it's going up, I should be bullish. But the fact is, it's going down, we should be bullish because we're in a weekly uptrend, and now is a good time to be loading up and buying. Again, not financial advice, that's just my opinion. But yeah, we're no major red flags whatsoever. If we take a look at total 2, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, again, weekly uptrend, low, high, higher, low. Actually, I guess we did broke to a little bit of a lower low there. So we're still not technically in a weekly uptrend. We're just scouting a higher low. So total 2 is a little bit weaker. If we take a look at total 3, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, again, a little bit weaker here. But the overall total market, including all crypto assets, we're in a weekly uptrend, which is the most important thing. And then if we zoom out to the monthly, you can see here we're still in a monthly uptrend, right? We've been in an uptrend on since March 2020, really. We had the low, weekly uptrend. I guess we never really fully confirmed a monthly uptrend. I guess, yes, we did right here. It was back in December 2018. So the low, high, higher low, and then higher high. So we have no reason to panic right now. We have a potential head and shoulders that we're watching, though. That's something to be watching out for here on the total market cap. It's actually on Bitcoin as well. So we need to be cautious of this head and shoulders. That's something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. But for the most part, I'm not seeing any major red flags long term. And if you're just joining us late, like I said, going to do this market update. I got an extremely important market update for you folks today. It's a must-see. You won't want to miss this. And then I'm going to jump into some ticker requests if there is any. I know it's Saturday, it's the weekend, and I didn't plan this live stream. It was just kind of last minute. But I did want to come on, and I've been finding some major red flags and just going through these charts, trying to find the most likely scenario. Realistically, with charting, nothing's a guarantee. It's all odds, but we're just trying to find the most likely scenario and come to the conclusion that makes the most sense. So right now, I'm going to compare. I just published an idea as well to TradingView and on Twitter, but I'm comparing here the dot-com bubble in the 2000 era to the everything bubble of 2022. Okay, and something of note, we've been in a bull market on the S&P 500 since 2008, folks. So we've been in a bull market for 14 years. So one would have to wonder when we're going to enter a bear market, a prolonged bear market that's going to confirm monthly downtrends. We had these huge drops here from the black swan of C19. We had 2018. We had a pretty big drop, but we never confirmed monthly downtrends. The last time we confirmed monthly downtrends was right here in 2008 in the financial crisis. And then a year later, they created Bitcoin and cryptocurrency took off. Why do you think that happened? Because they knew the financial system it's going to collapse. It's not sustainable. Every single fiat currency in existence fails ultimately because they're printing it into oblivion. So that's why crypto was created. It's the internet of value. A lot of people say they don't understand crypto. It's the simply put, it's the internet of value and money versus the internet of information, versus sending an email from here to the other side of the world at the speed of light. We can now send money from here to the other side of the world at the speed of light. And you might think, well, I send e-transfers all the time and it's there in seconds. But the fact is there's a settlement portion. And if you want to send it cross-border, it'll take anywhere from 5 to 7 business days, right? And there's a huge fee. Anyways, I'm going to end that, but I want to go back to this dot-com bubble here. So what do we notice here of the dot-com days? We had the peak in the monthly RSI. We had hidden bearish RSI divergence. And what that means is the price continued to trend higher with higher highs and higher lows, but the RSI on the monthly time frame is trending lower with lower highs and lower lows. And that's why it's called bearish RSI divergence, because you have one going like this and then one going like this, right? It's the opposite. And then you can do that on the flip side. If the price is going down and the RSI is going up, that's called hidden bullish RSI divergence. So in this case, when did the RSI peak on the monthly time frame? Well, I dropped it in here, 1996, that little flagpole. When did the price peak after the monthly RSI in that bearish div? 2000. So how many years? 4 years. And then what happened? We confirmed monthly downtrends and we were in a multi-year bear market. Okay, it wasn't 2 full years, but it was a multi-year bear market. And then we saw the financial crisis took place, right? But that was a huge pullback, right? How much did we pull back there of the dot-com bubble bursting, right? About 50%. But if we go there to the low in 2008, we pulled back almost 60%. So now let's learn what let's take what we've learned from the dot-com bubble and say, okay, if this is the everything bubble of 2022, why not use the dot-com bubble, which is the biggest bubble really that we have to compare this to? And if really we're going through the internet of value, why not use the internet of information as a gauge, right? It just makes sense to me. And then look what happened. We peaked in 2000, and then we hit monthly oversold on September of 2002. So again, took about 2 years, multi-year bear market. We even dropped to a lower low, 10 years later, more than 10 years later, about 16 years later. So now we've been in a bull market ever since 2008. So what I did was I took this fractal right here, which is the bust fractal from the dot-com days and everything bubble in the 2000 era. And I took that fractal and I pasted it here. So this blue blueprint here and fractal is just this fractal from the dot-com bust. Okay, now let's look how scary similar this is. Right now, we had this also this resistance line, which became new support. Look where we pulled back to and where we found support, right on that old resistance becoming new support. Classical technical analysis theory. But look at the fractal. I placed the top to the low, so I knew to be potentially expecting a drop because we had that bust fractal, and that was the old previous resistance trend line acting as new support. And then look what happened in the dot-com days. We started the monthly bounce, just like back here. We started the monthly bounce. It ended up just being a lower high compared to the all-time high, and then we rolled over and confirmed a monthly downtrend in a multi-year bear market. Okay, so this is potentially something that we can look out for because it's already playing out to a T. It dropped basically the exact same amount initially from the peak, which is the low of those blue bars, which is right on that old resistance as new support. And now look what's happening. We're bouncing on the monthly, meaning this monthly candle broke the high of last monthly candle. And look where we had a bull flag as well around 473 on the daily time frame on SPY. And look where the target of the bust fractal is. It's right around that 473 area. And then look what happened. It was a 5-wave structure. So if you guys don't know Elliott wave, I'm by no means an Elliott wave expert, but you can just take the 5-wave structure and you can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So essentially, I took that fractal and I created the exact same thing here. So if we see a 5-wave corrective structure type wave move to the downside, here would be our first wave, our second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. And what I want to do is I want to pull up the Fibonacci extension levels as well from the low to the high. What has Bitcoin done? What has Bitcoin done this bull market? It hit its 3.618 Fib extension, right? Which I've been covering on this channel for quite some time. So let's just bring that up. From its all-time high in 2017 to the low of the bear market, the high, the 3.618 here, this purple line, is where it hit, right? You can see hit it once, twice, even got above it. It almost hit the 4, I guess it did hit the 4.236. Just barely. It came at 69,000. That's sitting at 72,000. So we basically hit the 4.236 Fibonacci extension level. And you might be wondering, what are you talking about? That's Chinese to me or whatever. You're speaking a different language. All it means is you just take the swing high to swing low, and then these Fibonacci extension levels are common areas to target in a new bull market. And guess what? We started a new bull market, and guess what the common areas are? 4.618 and the 3.618. We've already exceeded the 3.618 on Bitcoin. We've already exceeded the 3.618 on Ethereum. We've already exceeded the 4.618 on the S&P 500. If this wasn't the time to sell, keep in mind the Fed is no longer allowed to own stocks. Convenient that they get to sell and look like heroes at the top, right? We're not going to allow our staff to own any stocks, right? We're going to be the good guys, the heroes. We're going to be forced to sell at the peak where we were the ones who created the monetary policy and decided to inflate the market and inject trillions of dollars into the market. Not only did they know that they were going to inject trillions of dollars to save the stock market, they were able to sell the top and then make up an excuse to say we have to sell because we're no longer allowed to own stocks. Now, guess what's on the table? Congress is talking about making it basically going to restrict their staff. Anybody who works in Congress will not be able to own stocks. Does that mean we could potentially see another move up to around that 475 so that they can unload? Potentially. I think that could happen. Okay. So we've already hit those extension levels. Okay. And this lines up too with a lot of these retracements. Look, it pulls back to the 2618, and then it bounces back up to the 3618, and then it comes back down, right? And respects this overall fractal. And look to where we are in the monthly RSI now. 2018 it peaked. Okay, what happened in 2000 in the .com? Peaked in 1996, and then we went to monthly oversold, and it took 4 years for the price to peak. Okay, now let me blow your mind. How long has it been since the monthly RSI peaked on SPY? 4 years. We've over exceeded the 4.618. We are heavily overbought, and we have hidden bearish RSI divergence on the monthly time frame here. We peaked in 2018, just like the .com days, right? Just only difference is the prices are much higher. Now we're at 473 on SPY, and when we peaked last time, we're only at about 150. Okay, so it's not going to be the exact same either. I'm looking for the most likely scenario, and this is what I'm looking at until I'm not. Okay, so now where could we potentially see this selling pressure take off? Okay, well, if we utilize the bus fractal, it's saying that we could top out somewhere around June and July. And what have I been saying on this channel for many months now? I think there's going to be a sell in May and go away. You might say, okay, so sell all my stocks in May and then never look at the charts again for a couple of years. Well, not necessarily. Remember, whales, market makers, Warren Buffett said it himself, it takes him about 4 to 6 months to get in and out of positions, meaning flip net long or net short, meaning he's either all in bullish and he thinks the price is going to go up, or he's net bearish, meaning he's shorting and he's betting that the price is going to go down. So if it takes them 4 to 6 months, okay, they're going to blow your mind again. When did we peak out? Actually, let me go back to the .com. When did we peak? Around March of 2000. Okay, how long did it take for the price to reverse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, because it takes 4 to 6 months for the whales to get in and out of positions. So if they were flipping from long to short, it took exactly 6 months. Okay, and then how long until we confirmed a monthly downtrend? The answer is about 8 to 10 months. Okay, so now let's go back here. How long has it been since we peaked? Well, we peaked in January of 2022, and if we extrapolate that out about 6 months, you're looking at June. So again, sell in May. They start the selling in May. Well, they've already started the selling, right? We were down over 10% on the S&P 500 there in a couple months, but it's going to start accelerating. So into May, I think we're going to see May and June. We're going to start to see selling. But it's going to really accelerate into the summertime. And then look where we could potentially hit oversold here on the monthly if we look back to a potential repeat of the .com. If we head to monthly oversold, that would put us somewhere around the end of 2023. Okay, and the beginning part of 2024. So again, I don't think it's going to be 2-year bear market, 3-year bear market. I think it's going to be multi-year, probably 1.5 to 2 years. But there's a lot of people saying this is going to be the lost decade. And that all that means is there's going to be very limited returns in stocks. Obviously, there's going to be a few outliers and individual sectors and stocks that outperform. But the overall trend is going to be very, very difficult to make money to the upside. I think the overall trend is going to be downside and short, because we've been in a bull market since 2008, folks. And it's going to come a time. And if we start to see this corrective wave and it follows this pattern, which it has been to a T thus far, and we start to see monthly downtrends confirm into August and September, and then really accelerate into October, by this logic, we could drop to about 325, which I could easily see happening. That was the previous all-time high before the C19 scare, right around there, like that 350, I guess 339. So I could easily see us come back, test the old previous all-time high, from before the Black Swan in C19. Then we bounce for another monthly lower high, but we're in a downtrend. It would just be a monthly dead cat bounce at that point. And then that would put us somewhere around the 400s, right? Ebbs and flows. Nothing goes straight down and nothing goes straight up. So we could potentially see a drop to around that 320 or 330, that old previous all-time high. I could easily see that happening. Just now that I'm looking at that. And this is kind of why I like coming on and doing these live streams, because I kind of think of things on the fly. And that wasn't even something that I noticed before doing this live stream. So that look at where we find support too. If this bus fractal from the dot, like this is, if you're not amazed by technical analysis, you know, you don't have to learn this stuff, but you got to be following this. Like this is, you can't make this stuff up, right? If you've tried. So like I said, we could potentially rebound relief rally to about 400, but just a dead cat bounce, continue the downtrend, then come down and test this previous support line here, and maybe potentially bounce around that 280, 290, right? I could easily, and that also lines up well with the 2.618 Fib extension, right? It's all these Fibonacci's, and you might be, well, man, all those things are like, there's just so many coincidences, right? And it's not really coincidences, it's technical analysis and probabilities and price history, right? And it's just human emotion is all it is. And I don't think humans have changed that much from here to here. Let me know what you think. If anything, we're probably going backwards with the rate of technology and AI and everything, how reliant we are on technologies. And a lot of this is now just bots trading too, right? So what if we form another lower high and relief rally around the 350 area? That would make sense because that's our previous all-time high as well before the Black Swan, right? And then ultimately, if we tracked what happened to this fractal, if we drop around that same percent, which would be around 50%, that would put us down here around 225 on SPY in a bear market into late 2023, early 2024. And again, that's still higher than the low there at C19 at 218, right? So we're expecting somewhere around the 227 to 230 area. Like, I could easily see this happening. Let me know in the comments if this is blowing your mind, if you can see this happening. Again, this isn't me coming on here. You know, maybe you just entered a bullish position on a stock. Well, there might be some gas left in the tank. Like I said, I'm expecting a monthly lower high. The bus fractal saying we can go higher. I think we're going to go a little higher. And what might propel us higher, I think, is a Bitcoin ETF getting approved. Because if an ETF gets approved, it's going to mean that people can buy Bitcoin in their regular stock account. It's going to create euphoria. It's going to create mass just greed in the market. And I think that's going to be our blow off top in crypto. And it's going to be the blow off top that we're looking for, not necessarily blow off top in S&P, I don't think. I don't think we'll go back to all-time highs. It's possible. Again, the .com fractal says we won't, but that doesn't mean you go by this 110%, right? This is just an idea. So again, in a bear market, I think we're going to be entering a multi-year bear market coming up into at some point in 2022 and lasting until late 2023, very early 2024. And again, this isn't me coming on here to spread fear and you know, FUD and fear, uncertainty, and doubt and fear mongering. And you know, everybody says I'm a perma bull all the time. Well, you know, here I am going over the bear thesis, and it's not looking good, right? And you got to think. When has most people are okay with SPY going up 6 or 7 or 8% in a year. They're okay with 7 to 8% gains in a year on the S&P 500. How much did we go up in a year from C19? We went up 88%, or sorry, over 90%. And then we went another 15%. So from the low there at 218 on SPY, in just over a year, we're up 120%. So all you bulls out there, you need to be cautious. Like I said, we have this hidden bearish RSI divergence where the price is trending higher with higher highs and higher lows, and the RSI is trending lower, right? We have that hidden RSI divergence, and it's likely going to get quite ugly coming on the end of 2022. And like I said, last probably all the way throughout 2023. And yeah, SPY, we have a death cross that occurred. So again, weekly time frames are fine. We're still in weekly and monthly uptrends. If we take a look at the weekly time frame though, SPY did have extremely bearish close this week on Friday. We closed below the 10-week moving average. The stochastic and the MACD on the weekly flipped bearish. That's looking really, really bad. We also lost the 10-week moving average, which was the first time since the low of C19. So we lost the 50 weekly. We have the 100 weekly down there at 396. So again, I could easily see a pullback to around that 400, 350, 330, that previous all-time high. But one thing I want to highlight here, you might be wondering, okay, Rod, what is your absolute critical level that you're watching on the S&P 500? What is the level, as someone who doesn't know charting and doesn't want to overcomplicate things and doesn't know a whole lot about investing, maybe you're new, what is the level that we need to be watching on SPY to be worried of a lot more downside? The level is 410.64. Write that down. 410.64 on the S&P 500, ticker symbol SPY. If we lose that level, we're going to confirm a monthly downtrend. Okay? So if we lose 410.64, that'll be the first time we confirm a monthly downtrend since 2008. And it's likely going to get very, very bearish. And we've only got 5 days left in this candle. We're at the low of the month. So what we want to see as bulls is bulls buy the dip here, defend that support, and create a bit of a lower wick. And then we'll want to see that continuing that monthly bounce. That just means we're breaking the high of the previous candle. And then, like I said, this .com bust fractal says we could potentially hit somewhere around that 470 to 473 area. And guess what we had on SPY? We had a bull flag target on the daily time frame of 473. And then we roll, right? Sell in May, go away. October is historically a terrible month for the stock market. So where's October? Right here. That would put us down to around 330s, 340s, testing that previous all-time high before C19. So again, this is all to come on here and help and armor you guys with as much knowledge as possible. We had a death cross on S&P 500, the first time since C19 lows. This is, like I said, I think we've got a little bit more gas in the tank. I think we're going to see one more final push up, but this is very, very, very alarming. The fact that we had a death cross, the 50-day crossing down through the 200-day moving average is very, very concerning. And something else we need to be aware of, tech sector also had a death cross. And what have I been saying? I've been saying, stay the heck away from tech. And I just realized that rhymed. But yeah, stay the heck away from tech. But somebody asked me if SHOP was a good entry. This is definitely piquing my interest. We're basically monthly oversold, but we haven't seen the monthly bear cross of the EMA in the 26 yet. So we could see more downside. We do have support here at 305, so we could easily drop another 30% or so and test that monthly oversold, test that monthly higher low. We could see this monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross follow through. I'd be watching for entries, like I said, somewhere around that area, around that 300 area, which is our previous support. But you could look to start to dollar cost average, right? Maybe you're entering a little bit at 450, a little bit at 400, a little bit at 350, a little bit at 300. And then you're looking to see a monthly bounce get underway where we come up for a monthly lower high. We still haven't confirmed a monthly downtrend. We lost the monthly uptrend, but no monthly downtrend. We need a lower high and lower low to confirm the monthly uptrend. You can see here we had higher lows and higher highs. We lost the higher low pattern, monthly uptrend lost. Now we need to confirm a monthly downtrend to be confident that we're entering a bear market, but I think we're going to see a pretty big bounce here coming up soon. But again, what have I told you? For the most part, stay the heck away from tech because we were, again, hitting 4.618 extensions. We saw QQQ was hitting its 4.618 extension, SPY, and Netflix. Bill Ackman down $400 million in a couple months on Netflix, and a lot of people think that they're down drastically in their MJ portfolios or whatever portfolio. Well, guaranteed you aren't down $400 million if you're a retail investor. If you are, you're most definitely one of the biggest whales out there. But again, I said stay the heck away from tech, and this is exactly why. Take a look at Netflix. In a matter of months, down 70%. And still haven't even confirmed a monthly downtrend yet. We just lost the monthly uptrend. But again, we saw that bear cross of the EMAs, and we saw further follow through. We saw further follow through. So what hasn't SHOP done yet? Well, Netflix just did it, had a bear cross of the EMAs. Maybe that means SHOP is going to see it, and we're going to come down here and target that 300 area. So I'd be watching that area right there. But again, stay the heck away from tech. Unless you're going to just enter with a quick stop loss and set some set some stop losses and then just look for a monthly lower high. But again, just be very, very cautious with names that have been like how much is QQQ up since March 2020? Like that's something we want to find out. 150%, guys, on an index. Like you need to get the heck away from tech, and you need to start averaging ETA stocks and the overall stock market, anything that's been hot. So tech, crypto, all those sectors. We're starting to see recovery sectors like oil and energy stocks. Those are getting a little concerning as well. What I'm focusing on is altcoins. My XRP, I'll go from largest holding to small holding. So I have XRP, XLM, Litecoin, Link, I think Sologenic, Songbird, Dogecoin, EOS Dogecoin. So I think I own about 7 total, and they're all altcoins. And you might be asking, well, why don't you own any Ethereum? Well, I sold my Ethereum last year when we were back here around, where was it? It was in February. I sold it. It was right around January and February. So it would have been right here. So I sold it when we were getting close to this 1.618. From going from $80, $90 low there in March 2020. How much is that up in a year, right? 4,755%. Okay, so once Bitcoin hit 50,000, once we hit 2,500, we were getting close to 2,500 on Ethereum, I was all out. Okay, so we've hit our 4.618 extensions on very close on Bitcoin. We hit the 3.618 on Ethereum. So why am I focusing on XRP and all these other coins? Well, they have yet to break their all-time highs. And what if we hit our 3.618 on XRP from here, right? That's 15x. That's $1,000 into $15,000 potentially in a couple of months. If you invested $1,000 into Dogecoin in March 2020, you'd be a Doge millionaire 1 year later. If you invested $1,000 into Shiba Inu at its inception, today or at its peak there about a year ago or something like that, you'd be a billionaire. Okay, let that sink in. So if you don't think we can go 10x to 100x in a couple months, well, guess what? We went 1,000x basically in a year on some names. So it always seems impossible until it's not. But that's why I'm focusing on altcoins. Like I said, I've got more crypto than any other asset in my portfolio. Well, maybe I own more real estate. And I think I actually hold more cash than I have real estate and crypto. So I have the most cash. That's my biggest position. Cash is king right now, in my opinion, given that it's the everything bubble of 2022. I sold my properties in PEI. I bought real estate, 2 properties, a duplex and a house about 7 years ago. I sold both those properties last year. I was fully out of that market. Then I realized that Edmonton, Alberta was super cheap. I got a condo for $70,000, 1 bedroom downtown, amazing. You can check out my video. I did a video on that, my next big move in the Edmonton condo market. So I got a condo downtown, 1 bedroom on the 14th floor, massive view for $70,000. I own more cash than I have real estate. I own more real estate than I do crypto. And I think I've got close to $50,000 in my crypto account. And obviously I didn't put that much in. I probably only invested, $15,000 to $20,000 of my own money. But I think that's going to easily go to 6 figures here very, very soon in an alt season. But what I'm looking at, my biggest position is cash. Second biggest position is real estate. Third biggest position is crypto, specifically altcoins. And then my fourth biggest position is MJ stocks. And I own more money. I own more crypto dollar-wise than I do MJ. I expect that to change though over the next few months, and that's why I'm able to deal with this brutal bear market that we've seen in MJ, is because everybody I talk to, like maybe the 7 or 8 people out of 10, they're only invested in MJ, and then beyond that, not as if that wasn't crazy enough, they only own 1 MJ stock. And you're like, please tell me it's an ETF, and they're like, no, it's just one, and it's like a penny stock or a tier 3, and I'm like, oh man, like I feel so bad for you, because like you got to diversify, guys. You got to set yourself up for success, and we're emotional creatures, and if you're new, you're going to be emotional. I was there, right? And you need to diversify. You need to own more than one stock. You need to own maybe an ETF, right? That's why we created ETFs and mutual funds, is because people couldn't stomach owning a stock, and people thought MJ was bad. Well, look at Netflix chart, down 70% in no time at all, right? Erasing 4 years worth of gains, right? Every stock is risky. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be rich, right? MJ is no different. I mean, it's a little different because it's a nascent industry and there's so much growth, and Netflix is kind of peaking and trying. Like who would have imagined they were struggling to keep their doors open, right? So like I said, once we see alt season, I'll look to take profit and rotate more of my crypto profits out and buy more beaten down MJ. And then, like I said, it's all about cycles. And I see people all the time saying they're blaming a company and, oh, they diluted or they had a loss or they're poor management or whatever. It's like, well, at the end of the day, we hit the buy and sell button. And were you only invested in MJ or were you only invested in that stock? And they quite often say yes. It's like, okay, well, why would you invest in a sector, all your money at that? Why would you put all your capital in one sector or one stock that's in a monthly and a weekly downtrend? Okay, so what does that mean? That means MJ's in a bear market. So why would you want to go long in a bear market? Why not find sectors that are bullish in a bull market, right? Okay, you might be, okay, well, what was in a bull market while MJ's been in a bear market? Tech stocks, recovery stocks, crypto and tech stocks have been in a monthly and weekly uptrend since March of 2020, right? It's been in a bull market since then. Well, we've technically been in a bull market since 2008 on the S&P 500, unable to confirm a monthly downtrend. I think that's going to change very, very soon. So again, I really hope this helps because, again, this is my Saturday afternoon. I come on here because I choose to. I love to come on and hear from you guys. And speaking of that, if you have any ticker requests, I've allotted about an hour and we're just at about 36 minutes here. So if you want to place any ticker requests, if you could please do me a favor, just put in the ticker symbol and then in parentheses the exchange that it's on. And then that way I'll know. Sometimes there's multiple tickers with the same name, right? So again, put that if you have any questions, if you have any, you want to pick my brain about my strategy, my plan, my failures, my successes, whatever you want to do, right? I'm here for you guys, and like I said, the whole reason I came on here today was I just wish somebody would have did this whenever, because you get all these YouTubers on there and they're fluffy, and I get people commenting on my comments, and it's like, well, you probably shouldn't say that you don't care if your investments go to zero. It makes you kind of look bad, and I'm like, what? Like, have you never heard the expression, don't invest any more than you're willing to lose? Like, clearly they're new, right? They've only been in the stock market for like a couple months or a couple years. But, I don't come on here to get anybody's approval. I'm financially set. I don't need another dollar. And that's why I say is because my situation is different. I made more money off real estate and crypto. I could care less if I never made another dollar. I'm sitting pretty, right? Off investments. I don't need it, right? Not everybody's in that case. I wasn't in that case, 5-10 years ago. But if you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you drop your pride, if you drop your ego and actually learn, right? That's what I had to do is, I thought I had the answer and I thought I knew everything. But I had to learn the hard way. And I actually lost all my money. I started off with about 10 grand and I lost it all. Well, not all, maybe like 500 left or $1,000 left. But I consider that pretty much busting my whole account. And now I've grown a crypto portfolio of almost 6 figures. I made almost 7 figures off real estate. Right? So you got to think, right? If you don't diversify, if you don't give yourself the chance to if you put all your eggs in one basket, well, it's too emotional, right? You get too emotional and you're never going to have any success investing. That's why you got to diversify, but you don't want to over diversify either. Okay. I could go off on a tangent forever, but the biggest thing I see people do is they're just not willing to put in the time and learn, and they learn on their own accord. If you want something, find somebody who has something that you want and then ask them how they got there. It's not rocket science, right? So if you don't know what monthly uptrends are or monthly downtrends are, well, maybe you can ask Pow Group or Rod or somebody in our group who understands what they are, right? You don't have to be a whiz at all this stuff. You can come in, join our group, powgroup.ca, pursuitofwealthgroup.com will take you there. Free trial. Actually, I think the free trial there's no more spots available, but I'll look at adding some of those soon. But only $10 a month or $100 a year, very inexpensive. And I'll literally cater to you 24/7. You don't have to worry about these live streams or trying to make my live streams. And I do coaching, all that stuff, right? And it's all, I don't make a whole lot of money off YouTube. I really don't care. Like I said, people are like, how come your channel's not growing faster and stuff? And I'm like, because I'm not like most people. I'm covering MJ stocks when no one wants to talk about them, right? What do you expect? But once MJ turns around, like I'm not like most YouTubers where they come out of the woodworks only when the price is going up, right? They don't want to seem, they want people to think they're dumb or, why are you covering the space whenever it's down? It's like, well, I'm covering it because I'm here to support every single one of you. And I'm just like you. I'm a real retail investor and I own more crypto than I do MJ. But my primary focus on this channel, it's a MJ-centric channel, second crypto, blockchain, right? But end of the day, I come on here to support you guys. And I will be here in the bear market. I will be here in the bull market. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here for years and years and years to come because this is my passion. I love helping people. I love MJ. I love the industry. I love crypto. I accidentally stumbled into the finance and charting and technical analysis, and I just absolutely love it. And again, check out my my interview with the Not So Random Rant podcast. But it's so true. If you find something you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And if you don't love what you're doing, it's time to start working towards it now. What are you going to do? Are you going to hustle in the evenings? Are you going to, instead of watching Netflix all weekend long or whatever you do, are you going to maybe dedicate a couple hours a weekend to furthering your knowledge, researching? We have a POW Group Academy. You can check out our free course. It's got 30 lessons. It's pretty long, but you should be able to finish it in about a week or two. It's free. What's it going to, but if you don't put in the work, right? People go to school for 4 to 6 years to become a professional at a specific topic. And then they're still not professional. Then they need to go, do their job for another 4 to, so it's like a decade, right? 10,000 hours, they say. Have you put 10,000 hours into stocks and learning how to invest? I guarantee you 99 times out of 100, the answer is no. Did I? I can tell you I put more than 10,000 hours in. And that's why I am where I am today. There is no shortcuts in life. We only get one life. Own it. Take responsibility. Be accountable. If you can't be accountable on yourself, join a community and we'll help you. And we'll help you at every other facet of life as well, right? Well, that's what we're here for. It's the pursuit of wealth. It's more than just money. It's about health as well and maintaining a level head and not, there's a lot of crazy stuff in the world going on. So not that we're a support community, but, I feel like I have a lot to offer and I feel like, I'm just super grateful that I have the platform that I have and I can come on here and kind of, share my opinions, thoughts, and help as many people so that they don't make the same mistakes that I made. This is very cool. Kudos, man. Thanks for the notice/education. Steve says, thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining the stream. And I appreciate your feedback and support as always. It really, really does mean a lot. Molly Lou, I love how you're still advocating Hexo. So much fundamentals in that company, regardless of the downtrend. Heavy accumulation time. Sadly, things are a bit rough, so I have a little cash to invest. Yeah, but it's not all doom and gloom, right, Molly? You can kind of, I empathize for your situation, obviously. Don't lose sight of that fact. But what can you learn from next time, right? I lost a lot of money in the first crypto boom, and I lost all my account. And then I lost 1 Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum to an exchange, Quadriga CX. Check out Trust No One, the documentary on Netflix. It talks about that exact exchange. Essentially, he was running a Ponzi scheme and he was gambling people's money. He took my money, 5 figures, 1 Bitcoin, which is worth almost $100,000 Canadian, right? So they basically robbed me of about $150,000. And how much are you down on your investment? I wasn't even down. They took my money. They stole it from me. They were borderline thieves. They took 1 Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum from me. And I still didn't get knocked down. I blew up my account when I first started trading and investing. So I lost $10,000 and then I lost over $10,000 to a crypto exchange. Have you lost more than $20,000 in your portfolio? And if you did, guess what? I took responsibility. It was my fault. I hit the buy and sell button. Don't blame a company. Don't blame a sector. Lose the pride. Lose the ego. It's time to grow up. I'm getting a little heated here, but I just see so many the same comments, right? And I'm in so many different groups on Facebook of SNDL and Oxley and Hexley, and you all sound the same. Every one of you people who say, why me? Why my stock down? Why this? That? Guys, it's the whole sector, and it's the problems probably between the computer and the chair, right? That's a saying we use in the IT industry. But yeah, like I said, Molly, I'm not going to stop. Like somebody commented on my video yesterday and said, or maybe it was on YouTube or Facebook or something, and they're like, "Oh, you've been covering Hexo since $7, and all it's been doing is going down." It's like, no, did you not think to check my channel and go back and sort by oldest to newest and see when my first Hexo video was? It was long before it was at $7 or $11. It was around $1 in August 2020 after the massive drop, over 90% drop. And that before they even released drinks, before Truss even released any drinks, I was starting to invest in Hexo because I didn't believe in them at first. I didn't own it first until August 2020. That was the first time I bought Hexo. And then you get these trolls and saying, "Oh, you were covering it at 11 and you're saying it's a buy ever since." It's like, no, I was saying it was a buy in 2020 of August. And if you sold at the peak, you would have been up over 600%. And just because you didn't sell, it doesn't mean it's my fault. Right? So yeah, I'll cover Hexo in a bear market. I'll cover it in a bull market. It'd be different though if Hexo was at this state and the rest of MJ were at all-time highs, or maybe not all-time highs, but they're doing really well. And like every other company out there is doing awesome, right? But let's just have a little bit of a reality check here. What is MSOS doing, and what do all the MSO gang say? LPs are garbage and MSOs are the way to go, right? Okay, well, if that's the case, how come the ETF that tracks all the major MSOs is down 70% in the last year and we're at all-time lows? Might you wonder why Hexo or Oxley or SNDL is down, right? That's because everything's down. HMMJ is almost breaking to a new all-time low, right? And then people are like, "Oh my God, Hexo's an all-time low." And you're like, par for the course. Like obviously it's down 90%, but Tilray, let's take a look at Tilray. Tilray went from in February last year, it went from $67 down to $4. It lost over 92% of its value. Okay, so don't give me this stuff with Hexo. You can cry me a river, but I don't have any empathy for you because we had the chance to sell. If you didn't sell, well then, again, we need to learn, well, why didn't I sell? Well, chances are it started to pull back. We had all these bullish articles. Everybody and their dog was bullish, and it was like we pulled back to around $13 on Tilray, and then we started the monthly bounce, and we got up to $22. And then those people that entered and FOMO'd in around $40 or $30, like, oh, okay, it's good, we're going back up. And then they don't set any targets, they don't set any stop losses, they have no plan, and then it starts going back down again, and then they start to panic. And then they're like, "Oh, well, now I can't sell because I'm down so much." And then they just keep holding and holding and holding and holding and holding, and they have no plan, right? So again, it goes back to this person right here. Like, okay, if you're investing in CanTrust and they had grow rooms that weren't approved by Health Canada and the company went and solved it and bankrupt, well, yeah, okay, you were a victim of a scam and, that wasn't really your fault. But did you have all your money in that stock? If so, that was your fault. Did you have a hedging plan? Did you own any other stocks? Like, again, to a certain extent, it can be due to outside factors, but there's stuff we can do to protect against risk. It's called risk, right? And it's called capital preservation and risk management. So again, I will cover stocks in a bear market. And if you look back, I was covering them in the bull market. I will be here for the next bull market, and I will be here for the next bear market. And don't think that we're not going to have another 80 to 90% correction on MJ. We're likely going to shoot up, and then we're likely going to see another 80 to 90% correction. Maybe not exactly like that, but it's going to happen again. So are you prepared for the next time this happens? If not, most people probably just quit, right? And don't learn, or don't try to learn, or drop the ego and pride and say, okay, my way isn't working, or maybe I need to learn, right? If investing in the stock market, I gotta plug in my computer here. I thought I did that. If investing in the stock market is harder than like pretty much every other profession out there. Like I would consider to be a successful stock market and investor is like almost like making it to the NHL sometimes, right? It feels that way. It's super difficult and the whole market is rigged and the odds are stocked against you. So if it's harder than a lot of our professions that we go to do in like business administration, all that stuff in school, how come we spend 4 years plus another 4 years worth of, practicing and actual, internship and things like that? So 8 to 10 years to become a professional, and then people think that they can come on, watch a couple hours worth of YouTube videos, and then hit a buy button and think that they're going to be successful. It doesn't make any sense, right? But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, if you don't have any cash left to invest, what can you do? Can you go maybe do some work on the side? I don't know. Can you raise some money? What can you do? Like get creative, right? When I was strapped for cash and when I lost all my money and that exchange took all my crypto, I signed up for Skip the Dishes actually, and I was making $600 a week in Skip. And guess what? All of my money that I made extra went into crypto, and then crypto exploded and now I'm all out of Ethereum and Bitcoin. My life has been changed. And then real estate boomed, right? Who would have thought that houses would over 100% double, right? 100%, over 100% gains, right? Like my friend bought a house in Prince Edward Island, Canada, 3 years ago. Now he bought it for $200,000. It's worth $400,000 3 years later. And that's tax free if he sells because it's his primary point of residence, right? So again, while all these MJ maximalists are focusing on MJ in a multi-year bear market, why not try and find stuff that's in a multi-year bull market? But again, you want to find it before it's going into a bull market. Do you think I bought my real estate properties when it was booming? No. Does that mean you can't make money buying high and selling higher? No. But I am a buy very low and sell very high type of investor. And if that's not you, that's fine, right? You can figure out your own way. It's only your way, not a right or wrong way, right? Thank you for all the Hexo videos. You're very welcome. This is again from Molly. You're another reason why I kept holding and sold in profit. I currently have, and I was telling people I was selling back here, right, in February. I said, I'm starting to average out. I'm scaling out into strength, and then I'm going to look to buy the dip. Granted, I entered way too soon, but at least I was able to exit, and that's why my average on Hexo is only $1.60 Canadian, right, is because I exited here after entering here, right, like, well, this is Tilray, sorry, but this is what I was doing. Remember when I said August 2020? Okay, let's go back to August 2020. March, June, August. So we're right around here. This is after split, right? Post-split. But back then the price was like $1 when we bottomed out. It was like 30 cents, but now it's $1.30 something. But I started buying Hexo right around here. And then you get all these trolls saying, oh, you were covering it here to here, and look at how bad that is. It's like, no, I started covering it here before Truss even had drinks. And then I was selling here, and then I started buying again here. So again, I started averaging back in. Actually, no, it wasn't that low. I started averaging in around $7. So it was right around there. But then, again, I'm using dollar cost averaging. I still have more cash than I have real estate. I have more cash than I have crypto. I have more cash in my account than I have MJ, right? Why? Because we never know, right? And then, so I entered on, I entered my first position back. So I was all at a Hexo around $9 on that move up after entering around that $2, $3 mark. And then I sold pretty much all of my position. I started exiting out. Again, not just scaling in when I dollar cost average in, I dollar cost average out. I scale out. So in multiple orders, I started exiting around $6, again around $7, again at $8, and then I sold my last tranche at $9. And then when we got back to about $7 here, when we had this monthly higher low, that's what I was looking for, was a continuation of the trend. So I started entering around that. When we started to bounce here on the monthly, I started entering around 7. Then we confirmed a monthly downtrend, and I was like, oh, this is getting bad. So then I said, if we lose $5, check my videos. I said, if we lose $5 USD on Hexo, that's bad. Then I sold probably half my position after losing $5. And then I started averaging back in, right? And again, I just add a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here, a little bit here. Why was I able to do that? Because I saved cash. I've been through markets before, and yeah, you just never know, right? And now I've got my average down to about 160 Canadian. So, just imagine. I know a friend with 100,000 Hexo shares. Just imagine if price goes back to $30, right? What's 100,000 shares times $30? Do the math. But yeah, absolutely. There was tons of opportunities. I currently have an XRP bag too. I'm trying to, look at my background. You've got Hexo over here and XRP over here, and then at the top you've got the official sponsor of Pal Group, which is Questrade. But yeah, that's our official sponsor, so I'm partnered with them. So if you're looking for a stock trading platform, they're low fees. You can go check out the link in the description. But yeah, those are my two favorite. Hexo is my favorite MJ stock, and XRP is my favorite crypto. I own more XRP than I do Hexo, though, full disclosure, dollar-wise. And again, I own more crypto than I do MJ. But I can see great minds think alike, Molly. And if anybody's joining late, I did probably the most important market update of my life. So I would highly encourage you to go back and watch that, specifically on the S&P 500. I'm trying so hard to continue to remain patient. Yeah, well, I've been holding XRP for over 4 years now. Actually, I think I first bought it in 2017, and I've been buying and selling. But ever since the market or the SEC brought the lawsuit, when we dropped down here to about 17 cents, I went really, really heavy. And everybody was like, XRP to zero, people are worried about Hexo and everything. And I'm like, this is nothing compared to what I went through in XRP. We legitimately had reason to be scared. Hexo, we didn't have any reason to be scared. I did a video on, are they going bankrupt? And I laid out 8 reasons as to why, options that they had before even considering the B word. And then 2 things happened that I didn't even consider. So there was 10 options, right? Tilray Financial Partnership and whatever else, sold Belleville, or not sold Belleville, they're pulling out of Belleville, but Trust is staying there, right? Which is bullish. It's going to help their SG, there's going to get their costs down. But just imagine if Hexo got sued by the SEC, right? And we legitimately thought Hexo was going to go to zero, right? Then I could kind of understand the emotional reaction. But imagine how scary it was. And I was holding a lot of XRP and it was breaking out. We hit 78 cents and then we dropped 1 month later down to 17 cents. Erased $15 billion worth of market cap. And we dropped from the high there, we dropped almost 80%. And people legitimately thought XRP was going to go to zero because the SEC was suing them for unregistered security sales. So if someone panic sold, I'd be like, that's the SEC's fault. But I mean, it's kind of on you too for not keeping a little bit or not diversifying. Did you have more in your portfolio than just XRP? No, I was all in. Well, lesson for next time maybe, right? Same with me. When my exchange went down, took a Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum from me, I could have just cried wolf and, poor me. It's like, well, no, Rod, maybe you shouldn't have all your money on one exchange. Duh, you dunk. Again, we got to respond. You got to take responsibility, folks. But this was so much more scary. And if you weren't buying, I was holding through all this. March 2020 dump. That was scary. But everything was down. But then here, everything was going up and the XRP looked like it was going to zero. I was screaming from the rooftop, I'm buying this. This freaking case has no weight to it at all, right? And sure enough, it went from 17 cents to $1.96. I took some profit then. And then I just started averaging back in, right? But still, from the SEC lawsuit at 17 cents, we're still at 71 cents. That is huge. From the low there, we're up, from the low, we're still up, almost 400%, right? So, but yeah, it could be a long while. It could be they just delayed Ethereum, the new Ethereum consensus, which is the version 2.0, right? It's not even fully decentralized or built out yet. It's just ridiculous. But they're delaying Ethereum. Why do you think the SEC brought the lawsuit against XRP? Is because Ethereum is owned by majority JP Morgan. And JP Morgan is one of the biggest financial institutions in the world. So if they have a lot of money invested in Ethereum, why would they want Ripple to pass Ethereum, right? They don't want that, or at least not yet until they figure out their portfolio and shift things around first. So what they did was they brought the lawsuit against XRP and against Ripple and it hurt XRP, and they were buying time for Ethereum to come out with its working product, because the one right now sucks. So they were working towards that, and then because Ethereum got delayed, now we just had a delay in the XRP case. And I just did an XRP video this morning. Actually, you can check that out. Really good. You don't want to miss that one. So again, it's the market is 110% rigged. If you don't think it is, you are completely naive. I say that respectfully. I've seen enough to know that the market is 1,000%. I'm saying that with utmost confidence. It's 1,000% rigged. And again, you can hate the game, not the player. But if you want to win at the game, you need to learn how to play the rules of the game, and you need to know how to beat them, to join them, not beat them, because you will not beat billions and billions of dollars and trillion-dollar hedge funds, right? It's just not going to happen. And if you're trying to day trade these days, most things are bots and algorithms. So good luck trading against highly sophisticated 2022 trading algorithms. Okay, that's why I sort of took a step back from trading, is because this is very stressful, and it gets harder and harder because more bots are in it, and the market's rigged, right? Like the Fed was allowed to own stocks when they were injecting trillions of dollars into the market, and they were allowed to buy, and then they sold the top and said, oh, we're no longer allowed to own anymore, and then looked like the heroes. And then you're like, and then most people are like, they don't even bat an eye. And I'm sitting here thinking, who in their right mind allowed them to own it in the first place? You know, like, as if that wasn't freaking obvious. Like, well, duh, you shouldn't be able to create laws and then own stocks. Like, anyway, I digress. So yeah, just be patient. Crypto and like Warren Buffett says, the stock market, and you could say this about crypto, is a mechanism of transferring wealth from the inpatient to the patient. I'll say that again. The stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. So all you need to really do to crack the code is to just be patient. Invest in good companies, invest in good industries. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't invest any more than you're willing to lose, the golden rule. Yeah, and everybody's situation is different, right? I could care less if my MJ went to zero because I got tons of money in the bank to buy more, right? If all my investments, I own 12 MJ stocks and 2 of them are ETFs, so it's basically an impossibility for it to all go to zero. But let's just say it all went to zero. Well, I got more cash than I have real estate, and I got more cash than I have crypto currently. I've got more cash than I have MJ, right? So I'd be fine, right? And I don't just own MJ, I own crypto and real estate and mutual funds and all this stuff. Respect, man. Give yourself a molar after this. I'm on keto, my friend. I'm doing really good, though. Seen somebody comment, it's like, what are you doing on keto? Like, all this diet stuff's stupid. Just eat healthy. It's not that complicated. And I'm like, I do eat healthy. I'm not overweight. I'm just, again, it's discipline. It's training your mind to get. I don't even miss sugar. Like, I seen somebody on Facebook say, I gave up sugar for a week, and this is my experience. Migraines, mood swings. And I was like, really? Like, I've been 2 weeks now without sugar or carbs, and I'm fine. Like, but again, it's training your mind, right? It's again, it's the pursuit of wealth. It's health, wealth, mind, body, money. Money's right up there with oxygen. Are you meditating? Breathing is a very important thing. Not very many, again, it might sound like I got like a tin, maybe I'm crazy now or something, but my Apple Watch tells me every couple minutes to stop and breathe, take a minute and breathe. Right? It senses my breathing patterns, and it tells me that I'm not breathing properly, right? So again, if you're stressed out all the time, it causes inflammation and just, all this stuff, right? So I'm anyway, got off topic there, doing the keto diet. I'm down like over 10 pounds. It's been 13 days today, I think. So I'm like, all the weight that I gained during COVID is basically gone. And it wasn't a whole lot because I'm not like, I eat pretty healthy as well. But the whole idea is you cut out carbs and sugar, which are the number one fuel, body burning fuel that your body uses naturally. If you cut that out, and the whole idea of keto is you have 2,000 calories a day, get 70% of your calories from fats, 25% or so from protein, and then 5% from carbs. So you're still having some carbs, you just want to have less than 50 a day. And the idea is that your body burns fat versus sugar and carbs, right? Which sugar turns into carbs. But I feel great. I didn't go to bed last night till 3 a.m. and I was up at like 8 something. They say you have insomnia, but the amount of energy, like I didn't have you get keto flu starting out, but after that I was like, whoa. And like today I'm doing 2 videos up early today off like 5 hours sleep or something like that. And I'm just ready to go. Like I've never felt this good in my entire life. I'm down. I've lost a lot of weight. Not like I lost more weight than I set out to lose, and I only wanted to lose like 10 or 15 pounds, right? And I'm basically at my goal in less than 2 weeks, and I was going to do this for 2 months. So pretty crazy. But yeah, they have the new Alt XMGs, which I'm really looking forward to. Canna Cabana had it in the email yesterday. It was like, come get your Alt XMGs, and I was like, yes. So I go to the store, and they didn't have any. So she's like, I think it's going to be coming on the next order, but essentially they're the XMGs, the 10 milligrams, but there's no sugar and keto friendly. So I was like, this is awesome. It came right, perfect timing, but I don't know. Maybe I'll be done the keto diet by the time they get those alts in. Molly, yep, I watched that video and I've been watching you since 2020. That's awesome, Molly. Thank you so much. I do recognize your name. I didn't know that specifically, but I should remember that going forward. Documentary, trust no one. Yep, exactly. Oh, did I not say that? Were you correcting me there, Molly? Did I not say that correctly or something? If I did, I apologize, and thanks for correcting me on that. But yeah, it's called Trust No One, Hunt for the Crypto King. Man, what a good story, but like, sucked to be me, right? But then again, it could always be worse. That's something I tell myself too. It could always be worse. The guy on that show and the documentary lost I think he lost $200,000. And there's one guy that lost over $1 million. So again, everybody thinks their situation, I'm the first and the only one to go through this, and my situation is the worst. It's like, well, no, I can 110% guarantee you there's other people who have lost more money, or you've been in this situation before as millions of other people, right? You're not an anomaly. Sycamore style. Seems like we're accelerating toward a green future and solar batteries. Yeah, check out the video though. His name's Johnny Harris, and it says that the dark side of electric vehicles. You got to watch that documentary. It's only like 16 minutes long. 100%, you can't not watch that. It talks about how we're going through the same problems and inhumane ways and going through mining of all this cobalt to make EVs, and it's really not that sustainable unless we figure out a way to recycle and make it different. EVs there's a dark side to that. Go look at it, and it's all owned by China. All the cobalt mines, 15 in Africa and 19 are owned by China, and China's like going to take over the world here pretty soon. And we know China could invade Taiwan, and that could be what tanks the market. Like I said, in sell and demand go away, it's looking like we're going to get real nasty into the summer. That could be it. And I just saw an article actually on some news channel here this morning saying that it's still a possibility that China could invade Taiwan. And they're saying that Russia may not stop at Ukraine. They're targeting other countries after Ukraine. So again, now's not the time to get complacent, folks. Like, you got to really be selective with your longs. And I'm not saying this to be the fear monger on YouTube. Like, I'm just trying to help, right? And telling you what I'm preparing for. And again, it might not happen. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm prepared for both scenarios, and I'll be right either way. So that's all that matters, right? And wind isn't going to cut it. Yeah, like all the hydro, right? Like all that stuff's going to be, we're definitely going to have to get into water and wind and sun and solar, all that stuff. It's all necessary, right? We're going to need it all. It's like crypto. You can't just have one coin to rule them all. We need the ecosystem. If we're going to change how money works, we need the ecosystem, right? And same thing. If we're going to change how climate change works, we need the ecosystem. We can't just pick, solar, water, wind. Yeah, well, we'll 100% roll with wind. It's like, no, you need the ecosystem. You need it all. We're in a pretty poor state and drastic. I think that's going to be the next the next world crisis is climate change. Nuclear power seems like the next logical step. Yep, but then you had that nuclear power plant that blew up in, where was it, in Asia? Just massive, unfortunate event. Slipping my mind at the moment, but going to try and wrap this up. We're over an hour. What are your thoughts on uranium? Well, it's like, I'm pretty sure uranium was exploding, so I'd be careful on that one, right? Usually when people ask me about stuff, it's because the price has shot up a crazy amount, right? No one's asking me. Actually, a lot of people in POW Group know, though, and the POW Group community are starting to understand. I see a lot of people who used to ask me for ticker requests and about a certain ticker or company or stock or sector. They'd ask me, and we'd be at like all-time highs. And I'd be like, are you sure you want to go long? But now those same people, when they ask me about a ticker and I bring it up, we're at like an all-time low, or we're just starting to change a trend, and I'm like, yeah, you're getting it, right? So I'd just be cautious on uranium, because like I said, it's already exploding. It's like imagine trying to buy U.S. oil here. Oil was negative in March 2020, and now it hit a high of $129. Think about that. Negative, couldn't give it away for free, and then it went up to $129, $130 basically if we round up a couple years later, right? So like imagine buying oil here. Like it just wouldn't be a sound investment in my opinion. Just be very, very careful with those. But I mean, it could be a nice play. I don't track uranium enough. I'm like I said, more focused. My specialty is MJ first, cannabis stocks, and then second is crypto and blockchain. But we do have some people in our community that are a little bit more commodity oriented, and I know a lot of people in our group are talking about uranium for a while now, and gold and oil, and we even had a PowBot algo alert go on Suncor and Ace and Air Canada like a long time ago. UEC and DNN. Yeah, we can take a quick peek at them. Uranium Energy Corp. Monthly uptrend, so that is very, very strong. But we do have, just like SPY does, we have hidden bearish RSI divergence. You can see the price is trending higher highs and higher lows, where the RSI is trending lower highs and lower lows. That's usually called bearish RSI divergence. Sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. So again, if you're looking at entries here, this is again what I'm talking about. You want to be looking at entries like here or here. So if you were looking for long-term entries on, say, Uranium Energy Corp, well, I would have been looking at monthly to uptrends. But again, nobody was talking about it back here because it wasn't being pushed by the media, right? That's called playing your book. No big financial institution or media outlet talks about things when they're adding, right? They talk about it when they're done adding or when they're close, so that they can sell it to retail and then reload cheaper, right? So what I would have done if I was looking at entries in uranium, I would have been paying attention back here, knowing that it's the everything bubble of 2022, and we were monthly oversold. So that was a great entry here in March 2020, but then you could have said, okay, well, I'll enter when we confirm a monthly uptrend. So we had the low high of $1.29, higher low at 82 cents. As soon as we broke $1.29, and we even had a double top there, 126, 129, so pretty much a double top. And we formed a higher low there at 82 cents. As soon as we broke 129, we confirmed a monthly uptrend. If you would have entered there, just right there alone, on that monthly uptrend confirming, you would have made 400%. Right now, you're monthly overbought, and you're buying hidden bearish RSI divergence. You're seeing a monthly reversal candle here on the monthly time frame. We've got SPY in the broader market looking like we could potentially roll over and see a multi-year bear market. If you didn't see the beginning of this stream, if you guys are joining late, absolutely have to go back and watch it. It's on the S&P 500, probably my most important market update ever. And yeah, just be very, very careful on this one. We're monthly overbought, and we have that bearish RSI divergence. We are back in a weekly uptrend though, so this is very, very strong. Not like, and again, I don't know if you're looking for entries. Did you say you were looking for entries? No, you just said, what are your thoughts? So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'd be very, very careful. Looks like this is going to daily oversold. If you are looking for an entry, maybe target this support here at 370. Maybe use dollar cost averaging. Maybe start to scale in now. We could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. So if we do see that cross, that means we could likely anticipate more downside, and that would put us somewhere around this level right here. And then DCA. I would DCA all the way and just enter a bit here, set some levels, and try to nail the daily oversold. Usually daily oversold while scouting a weekly higher low is a great so if you're wondering when's a good time to start entering for long terms, well, it's usually when we're oversold on the shorter term time frame. So if you're looking for an entry on the weekly time frame, you're looking for a higher low, you're waiting for daily oversold, right? And we're getting close there. And then on the flip side, if you're looking for an entry on the monthly, like right now, we haven't consolidated since all the way back here at 234. So you're saying, okay, I'll wait for the next monthly dip and the next monthly consolidation. We only got 5 days, so it looks like it could happen next month, especially with this bearish reversal candle forming. So if we do see the pullback, maybe you're waiting for a monthly pullback somewhere around 330s to start scaling in, or the 270s. And then how do you know when is a good entry on the monthly time frame? You look at the weekly. When we get weekly oversold, or when we're getting close to weekly oversold, is generally a good time to start entering when we're looking for monthly higher lows. Or on the flip side of that, if you're looking for entries on the daily time frame and you're in a daily uptrend, right now we're in a daily downtrend with a lower high and lower low. But back here, let's say low, high, higher low, and higher high. Right here, you could have looked for hourly oversold, right? Just zoom in and then look what happened there. I drew that circle. Look, we hit almost hourly oversold. And then we hit it here. So if you would have just entered at hourly oversold, how much upside would you have seen? So we hit first oversold here. So you would have saw 85%, almost double your money, right? So that's the power of technical analysis. Like, you guys got to learn this stuff. And if you don't want to learn, you got to join somebody, you got to get a mentor, or just talk to somebody who will help you. Because if you're not using this stuff, you're at a complete disadvantage. Like Warren Buffett, all the major investors, they say they never buy anything without looking at the chart and understanding it. If you don't, there's one thing between looking at a chart and actually understanding what you're looking at, right? So I'd just be very, very cautious on UEC. In terms of DNN, so yeah, this one's looking a little bit better for an entry, because you're not massively, but I mean, we're in a monthly uptrend. We're at risk of a monthly downtrend. I wouldn't want to be in this name if we lost $1.06. If we lose $1.06, that's going to confirm a monthly downtrend with a lower high and lower low, right? So watch 106. Maybe you're waiting for an entry. Maybe you're bottom fishing. Maybe you're, because that's the support. Dollar psychological as well. Plus it's key monthly support. So what I would do is I would potentially wait, look to dollar cost average again, DCA all the way, and then look to get in close to that $1 psychological support, which is also lining up with the 106 monthly higher low, and then set your stop. Maybe allow a little bit of wiggle room. We also have EMA 26 that's sitting there at that yellow white line, sitting at $1.09. So a lot of confluence for support in that area. What I would do is DCA all the way, set a stop below $1. Maybe you set it, allow a little bit of wiggle room. Depends on how much money you're investing too. If you're using a lot of capital, maybe you don't want to allow as much wiggle room. If it's $1,000 or something like that, maybe you want to put your stop below 90 cents. We also had another monthly higher low here at 92. So maybe you put your stop at 89, start bottom fishing, trying to get it around $1. And then let's say you average in around all the way to about $1. Let's say you put it under 90 cents, you're risking about 13% to make upwards of 100%, right? So that's good risk to reward. In terms of the weekly, yeah, we lost the 10-week moving average last week. We had a bear cross of the stochastic, but the MACD, look, it's beginning to curl, and we could see a cross next week, but it's still bullish for the moment. But just be cautious if the weekly MACD crosses as well in terms of in terms of the moving averages on the weekly time frame. We're finding support right here at the 10-week 50 weekly moving average was there at 140. So if we lose 40, we're probably, if we actually lose that low 137 from last week, we're probably heading back down to that support around 107, 109. And in terms of the daily moving averages, we had a death cross for the first time since March 2020. But now we had a bull cross, went from death cross to bull cross. So death cross to golden cross. But we can't lose sight of the fact that we did have a death cross, which is the first time in looks like multi years. So just be cautious on these ones. Like I said, I wouldn't be entering any of these names without a very tight stop loss personally. And again, I don't know your situation. I don't know if you're long, looking to go long, short. I assume long though. Molly Lou, when I said things are a little bit rough, I meant in my personal life. That's why I have little. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, Molly. Yeah, well, we've all been there, right? And yeah, don't invest money that you're not willing to lose. Don't give up your rent money to buy stocks. For God, that's the last thing you want to do, right? And also, what I wouldn't recommend doing for people is borrowing money, like a line of credit or something like that. That is just not a good idea. You don't need a lot of money. Like I said, if you put $1,000 into Dogecoin in March 2020, if you waited 1 year, 12 months, you'd be a millionaire. So again, don't think you need a lot of money. And you can compound it. You can sell the rips and buy the dips and compound that way. Like I said, there's it's only money, right? And if you got family and kids and wives and husbands and things like that, don't go burning any bridges and ruining any relationships because you're trying to make some money in stocks. Like I said, stocks isn't easy, and neither is crypto. If you're investing in crypto and MJ, you're literally picking the two most volatile, riskiest asset classes on the planet. Okay. So you have to be prepared for these 80 to 90% drops and 600 to 1,000% moves to the upside. That won't happen forever. Neither will Bitcoin and crypto. But once we get to a certain market cap like Amazon, right, they're not going to drop Amazon 95% again because it's 1.6 trillion market cap, right? Like it just wouldn't happen. They'd be lucky to get it down 50. Dollar cost average in Molly slowly but surely, maybe stack and add on significant dips. Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, what can you do? Maybe can you pick up a side gig? Can you go like skip the dishes or something like that? That's what I did when I lost all my money to that exchange and blew my account out, busted my account. I was working a full-time job Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends and the evenings I was going and doing skip the dishes. I was actually making pretty good money, about $600, $400 a week, and then I put that all into to investments. And it was money that I didn't have. Like, what can you do? Can you start a side hustle, arts and crafts business? Can you start maybe designing things for wall art and stuff like that? Sell it to YouTubers. Like, if there's somebody who can make me a POW group sign, I'll buy it, right? Like, that'd be awesome. I actually got somebody who's thinking about doing an electrician, but it'd be cool just to get like a cool POW group put up here on the wall. I got this digital art right now, which I think is kind of cool too, but yeah, Sycamore style, that's a great recommendation, and looking out for Molly. That's awesome. What a great community. Very, very thankful for all of you guys, honestly. Molly says, thank you. Appreciate your videos. Honestly, much respect. You as well. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sycamore style. I sure will. Yep, you bet. Eason Wu, I am with you guys. You bet. Thanks for joining us, Eason. I'll be here, not going anywhere. Molly Lou, no, I was correcting myself. Okay. Eason, more than 10K share and 500 option. On what? On Hexo? Hexo, yeah. Hexo will be back. Yeah, I'm getting close to 50,000 Hexo shares. But again, I own more crypto than I do Hexo. I own more real estate than I do crypto, and I have more cash in the bank than any of those. Because cash is king right now, in my opinion. Vincent, hey man. Welcome back. Do you think cannabis stocks are near the bottom, like MSOS and Verano I'm in? Yeah, it's hard to say because my main concern is this, right? The main concern is this. If we're at all-time lows on MSOS, the ETF, and we're going to experience this in the broader market potentially and see a dot-com repeat of about a 50% correction and a multi-year bear market on the S&P 500, like, how is MJ going to react, right? These are things this is why I have more cash than I have crypto. This is why I have more cash than I have real estate, more cash than I have MJ investments. It's because you never know. Cash is king right now, but I'm prepared for all scenarios, right? I've also been building a short position on the S&P 500. It's called hedging. So if my only real concern about my MJ positions and my altcoins is if the broader market and like the whole broader market in crypto and Bitcoin just nosedives, right? That's the only thing that's going to tank my MJ and my altcoins, right? So I'm hedging with a short position on the S&P 500. It's called SPXS. It's an ETF. It's an inverse 3x leverage. So if SPY goes up 1%, I lose 3%. But if SPY goes down 1%, I make money on the way down. I gain 3%, right? So it's inverse. But again, you need to be prepared, right? And this is why not going all in too heavy, owning multiple stocks, not trading, not changing your game plan all the time, not hopping from one LP to another LP, hopping from one MSOS or MSO to another MSO, or selling the LPs to buy retailers. Like you really just kind of like, if you're really finding yourself struggling, you might be better off just to buy an ETF, right? Like again, stock market is not easy, and picking individual stocks is very, very, very hard. Like you need years and years of experience, and you need a really, really good game plan. Like when we were back in the bull run for MJ back in Canada legalizing, you could throw a dart and you would have made money. But we're not in that market. We're in a bear market. We're in monthly and weekly downtrends. Back then we were in monthly and weekly uptrends in a bull market. Now we're in a bear market and monthly and weekly downtrends. So you can't be going all in throwing darts right now, right? especially when there's so much consolidation going on in the sector. And there's probably, just like crypto, just like there's probably going to be 90% of cryptos that fail, there's probably going to be 90% of MJ companies that fail, because there's 776 producers in Canada alone. And everybody's saying, how come these Tilray and Hexo and all, how come they only have like 40% of the market? There's 776 producers. You're talking about, why do only the 5 own half the market? Like, that's a lot when there's 776 producers. MSOS and Verano I'm in. Okay, that's a good share. Yeah, so if you're just starting to enter MS, I actually added MSOS the other day to my TFSA, long-term no touch. And because us Canadians get $6,000 extra a year this year in your TFSA. You'll have to, again, not financial or legal advice or accounting or anything like that. Just make sure you contact CRA or your accountant and figure out for sure. But because you might have been in, yeah, everybody's situation is different. But Verano, yeah, like we're definitely getting close. MSOS, great option. I think that's a no-brainer to enter. It's an ETF. It's a no-brainer to enter long-term. So yeah, I think you're going down the right path there. It's been downtrending, yep. So is all of MJ. And as SPY corrects this summer, yeah, exactly. I just had the same concern. I didn't read your message long enough there. But would the cannabis stocks go all lower? Yeah, they could, right? But I think that cannabis stocks are going to enter a bull market when tech stocks and crypto enter a bear market. But what will likely happen is if we see this massive drop in SPY, MJ, and it all depends on how much MJ runs in before this drop happens, right? Or a drop happens. So if the S&P like really craters and drops 10, another 20, 30%, well, MJ is probably going to drop, right? But question is how much and how long and how fast is it going to rebound? I think it's going to rebound a lot faster. And like I said, I think we're going to see safe banking pass this year. And then shortly after that, we'll get full-blown legalization. Switzerland's talking about doing a trial MJ, recreational MJ in the summer. So if we get Germany, Malta this year legalizing, and then Switzerland, we know Thailand's working on legalization efforts, and we know that the EU, the rest of the EU probably would follow, like the UK and surrounding areas, Sweden, and then US will probably be last, right? I think we could get an announcement of safe banking sometime between now and the fall, and sometime between the elections in the fall and the end of the year, we get an announcement of full-blown legalization. And then I think we're going to go legal, the announcement, just like Canada did. They announced a year or so before they went legal, and then they put the date October 18th, right? And then it was a lead up into that. So, buy the rumor, sell the news. So then once it became legal, it was to sell the news, right? So I think the similar thing's going to happen. We're going to get the announcement and again, I don't know, it could be wrong, but I think we're going to get safe first. Then we're going to get the announcement maybe toward the end of the year, and then into sometime in 2023 or early 2024, that's when MJ sales go live, and we'll see the biggest bull run in history leading up into that, and I'll be here to see every bit of it, and I won't be selling a single share until that happens. Simple as that. Okay, lost my place here. But yeah, so to answer your question, yes, I would hedge, right? Look into SPXS. It's actually, it's if you're going to hold it long term, those generally aren't that great to be holding long term. Look at actual short positions on the S&P. Try to ask your broker if they have actual short shares available on SPY. Obviously, it won't be 3x leverage, so if it goes down 1%, you'll only make 1%. But again, that's a way to hedge, right? Or maybe you sell a little bit of your, again, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is for entertainment purposes only, but maybe you sell, I don't know, 25% of your MJ holdings and you hold cash. And then if this dip does happen in SPY, well, then you've got some cash and you're right either way. And you still have quite a bit of MJ stocks for the long term. Like, folks, you just have to remember, like, it's emotions, right? I can see the emotions seeping out in your messages. It's early. Like, imagine investing in Amazon. Okay, let's just bring up, we are 3 years into this thing, into legalization. And Amazon wasn't selling an illegal drug that in some countries is still the death penalty, right? So imagine trying to value Amazon in year 3. It would have been impossible. The internet was there was still dial-up, right? Imagine and they weren't selling a Schedule 1 drug that's illegal and offers the death penalty in some countries, right? So if it was that hard to gauge, and then look what happened after year 3, right? 1996, 97, 98, 99. So we went to $100, $150, and then look what happened. Boom. right? And then imagine, and I guarantee you there was a lot of people back here in year 3, and then this 95% correction happened. Look at that. Look what Amazon did. 95% it dropped after the dot-com bubble. And that's where legends were made after that. But again, you could have easily got shut. MJ's down right now 95% in year 3, just after year 3, year 4. You going to sell now at the bottom? You'd effectively be selling right here. And again, I'm not comparing Amazon because Amazon it was selling books, and then it sold everything, including the kitchen sink. I would argue that MJ has a lot more upside because it's still illegal in the US. It's still a Schedule 1 drug, federally illegal. And in some countries, in Singapore, if you get caught with more than 30 grams, I think it is, they kill you. They put you in like China and things like that. They will kill you. So you can't compare. Like I see all these people using price to earnings and all these traditional valuation metrics and things like that to value MJ. It's like you can't use traditional valuation metrics that you would use to value a grocery chain to value a plant that's illegal and offers death penalty. Like there's so much growth that you guys don't understand, have yet to be accounted for. And selling MJ right now, in my opinion, is like selling Amazon here. And then this was to come, right? How much did we go up after that? Again, not saying we're going to go to $4,000 on MJ stocks like Amazon. I'm talking about percentage gains. Percent, right? How much did we go up? 71,559%, right? That's life-changing, and it's going to happen in MJ. We'll see similar gains, right? We'll see Dogecoin. In 1 year, if you put 1,000 in March 2020 to March 2021, $1,000 would make you a Doge millionaire. Guys, you gotta wake up. There's tons of opportunity. We're early. Don't get emotional, guys. Hedge. Develop a plan. I was asking about uranium because I don't think we touched the highs considering the potential for nuclear plants being built. It's the ultimate green tech. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. Sorry, I can really only tell you like technically, and then the overall broader market. I would just be very, very cautious on the minerals and on energy, things like that, because it's been blowing up, right? And like I said, again, there could be some outliers. But if we see, like, just because we're going down in the S&P 500 doesn't mean there's going to be no opportunity at all. But imagine what would happen if we saw this mass fear pick up in the market. Everything's going to tank, right? And then the US dollar is probably going to spike like crazy. And we'll see a safe haven run to that, and maybe even gold. I think gold would be a good one in a safe haven because it hasn't run with crypto. So I'd be looking more of like a gold hedge. Uranium, I'm sorry, I just don't know enough about it, but based on a lot of those monthly charts, I'd just be very, very careful. And yeah, I'm just looking out for you. Like, full disclosure, I'm not trying to make you feel like you're picking bad things or anything like that. I'm just my 110% honest, unbiased opinion. Thanks for the thoughts for the entry on UEC and uranium in general. You're welcome. Anytime. I have sold Suncor near 43 and bought MSOS near 17. That's awesome, Vincent. Good job. Hoping it's the right move. I think it will be. Like I said, can expect a little bit more downside on MSOS, but buying MSOS at an all-time low, which is an ETF that's actively managed and rebalanced all the time, and you're leading up to the biggest catalyst of MJ's lifetime, right? U.S. legalization. So I think if you held MSOS, if you put $1,000 into MSOS, let's just say no one has anything into MSOS, not financial advice. You put $1,000 into MSOS, I think that could easily turn into $10,000 over the next couple of years. So for every $1,000 you make $10,000. Imagine if you put $5,000 or $10,000 into it. Could that change your life? But the tricky part is holding long enough, right? Because when the price starts to go up, there's going to be all these FUD articles. Remember when they said, when price was going up in Canada, they said, oh, if you own MJ stocks in Canada, you can't travel to the U.S. I was like, bull crap, right? That is so bull crap. And there's just all that stuff, right? They're going to try and shake you out, just like on the button when it's going down. They get all these FUD articles and fear, that all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and they're going to do the same thing on the way up. And then quite often what they do too on the way up, when we get to a peak, they say, oh, MJ is going to be worth 100 billion in no time, and all these stocks are going to 100, and we're like all-time highs, and they're telling you it's going to 100, and it's like buy, it's never going to go down, and then it crashes 80%, right? And then on the way down, they're telling you, oh, never buy MJ, never, like it's the devil's lettuce, right? And then the bottom comes. So it's like I think there's a Twitter page now which is exactly the opposite. So every time Jim Cramer makes a call, there's a Twitter page that does the exact same call but the opposite, and then they have like all this data about which one's more accurate, and it's like you'd be like better off doing the exact opposite of what Jim Cramer says like 80% of the time. Not to say that he can't recommend one or two, but 80% of the time you're better off doing the opposite. Think oil is too high, hoping cannabis will bounce from here. Yep, absolutely. Well, never a bad idea to take profits, especially when you're getting close to monthly oversold. And like I said, SPY hitting its 4.618 extension over the 4.618 extension. Man, yeah, you got to be careful and be very selective with what your longs are. I feel like the Fed is going to overreact with the rate hikes. They said 25, now 50. Yeah, this is what they do too, though, right? The last thing that tanked the market there the other day was possibility of rate hikes in May. And then what happens in May? They probably say, oh, we're not going to do it now, or it'll be lower than what they said. And then in June, they'll catch everybody off by surprise. And then that's why I think we could see this. This is what it's saying here too. Selling could accelerate into June. And then I think in June, they're really going to, because remember, when the economy's strong, and they raise rates for the first time in years, the first time is indicative of a very, very strong economy. So it's usually not the first time that they rate hikes, hike rates. It's not usually the first rate hike that tanks the market. It's usually the second, and most often than not, the third one, right? It's because the people see the first and the second one coming, and then what they do is they raise it the first time, and then they say, oh, we might raise it again, right? The possibility that we raise it next month. And then, again, look where we are. We're kind of finding a bottom here, right? And then they're going to say, no, we decided to go a little bit lower than what we were planning on. And then the market's like, oh, we didn't price that in. And then it goes up. And then in June, it's like, boom, full 50 or 100, basis point on the increase. And then that's what's going to tank the market. And then likely maybe, like I said, they say Russia's going to target other countries after Ukraine. And there's even talks that it's back on the table. It's saying that China, don't lose sight of the fact that China could invade Taiwan. Like all this stuff, right? Like, man, there's some stuff to be concerned about. But yeah, rate hikes are definitely, but like nothing's tanking the market, right? Like we're still in weekly and monthly uptrends. Bitcoin's still in weekly and monthly uptrends. And like Bitcoin has the most to lose really from inflation, from them taming inflation, right? Because Bitcoin's essentially an inflation hedge. And nothing can tank Bitcoin yet. So I think we're not done yet. I think we're going to see that one more relief rally, a little bit higher, get to around 470, 475 on SPY. We didn't get quite there. We got as high as 462.07. So I think we got a little bit more gas left in the tank, and then we start to roll. They're going to have to simulate, and then we'll see a boom in the market. Yep. Very good point. Dan B. Hey, man, welcome. In order for cannabis companies to uplist to the NASDAQ, would that require safe banking to pass? Yeah, exactly. Yep. Just safe banking, Dan. So if you get safe banking, they'll be able to accept credit cards and things like that. They don't have to have cash in their tills. Because right now, you got to think it's super dangerous for, like, imagine being a cannabis retailer in the U.S. right now. You can only take cash, and like you're basically enticing all these robbers to come in and rob you, right? And you can't pay with credit card. And then you're charged an ATM fee, because they have ATMs there, but if you don't use the ATM and you're like, do you take debit? Some places will, but what they do is how they get around it is they treat it like an ATM. So essentially they're charging you $4 and then your bank's charging you $4, which is all like US. So you're spending like $10 or $12 just in fees to use cash on your debit. And it doesn't matter if you go to the ATM right over in the corner, it's the same thing. So if you're going to go buy it, like think how crazy that is. MSOs are selling grams for $15 US. In Canada, you can get a gram for like $2. You can get an ounce for $60. And it's pretty good stuff, like 17%, 16, 17%. Pretty good stuff for $60. with tax included, Canadian. So like 40 US. These guys are charging $15 a gram, right? So if you're Canadian, that's like 20 bucks plus your if you don't have cash on you, which you probably don't, you probably own more Bitcoin than you do cash in your pocket. And then they charge you $8 plus, conversion. You're paying like $25 a gram. Like, that is not sustainable. That is so ridiculous. But yeah, not only is it going to help with that, and then not only are you going to be able to, and then also big financial institutions will be able to invest, right? Because they can't invest because it's illegal, and there's no regulatory clarity. It's like crypto right now. There's no regulatory clarity, so there's trillions and trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines from sovereign wealth funds and things like that have yet to, like Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank, said at Bitcoin 2022, as soon as there's regulatory clarity, trillions and trillions of dollars are coming into crypto. Like, he's comparing crypto to 1996 internet. Like, we're so early. And so many people think they're late to the party. But yeah, safe banking, they'll be able to uplist to the NASDAQ, the NYSE, and then you'll see the floodgates open up. All these financial and hedge billions and trillion-dollar hedge funds and sovereign wealth funds are all going to be able to start getting into it. Same with crypto. But yeah, just safe banking. That's why I think we're going to see safe banking, because why would they full-blown legalize MJ in the US without the banks being able to enter, right? So I think they do safe banking, get the banks positioned, and then we see the prices absolutely skyrocket of the MSOs and also LPs, because LPs are going to have a huge growth, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to be able to sell into the U.S. VFF, Village Farms, I think it was the CEO. He said he's very confident that whenever the U.S. legalizes, it's going to be treated the same like alcohol. We're going to be able to ship and grow and ship across the border. And he's talking about THC. And if that happens, like, imagine, not only do LPs have all of Canada and international markets and head start over there on the international markets, they're going to be able to sell to 300 and some million people into the U.S. That's going to be huge. So yeah, what I think is going to happen, my logic, my line of thinking is they get safe banking, they get the banks positioned and the financial institutions like the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, the Vanguards, and all that stuff. And then we see prices run up like crazy, and then we get the announcement of U.S. legalization, and then we run up like even crazier. Of course, there's going to be big dips along there, but we'll maintain the uptrend. And on the monthly and weekly time frame, there's going to be those ebbs and flows, right? But then leading into U.S. legalization, that's where we see the top once it actually legalizes, like it did in Canada. Very similar blueprint, I think. So again, why would they legalize full-blown MJ without the banks being able to participate? So I think safe banking is going to open up the uplist to NYSE and NASDAQ, and then we're going to see the banks get in, and then we're going to get full-blown legalization, because guess what? If the banks can't get in, then nothing happens in the world without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Just remember that. But very great question, Dan. AMD. Yeah, we had a sell alert on AMD, PowBot sell alert, and NVDA as well. So microchips not looking good. Monthly consolidation now for the, second month in a row. We do have a pretty nice base of support here at around $72. So maybe you're looking to add around 72. I'd put a stop below 70 though, if I was looking long term. But we're still in a monthly uptrend on AMD, right? Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. We never had any lower highs and lower lows. But let's say we bounce on the monthly from here and we form a lower high and then a lower low. That would be a monthly downtrend. And if that were the case, I would be running for the hills and I wouldn't look back for at least a couple of years. So I'd be very cautious on this one. Weekly oversold should be a nice entry for a bounce, in my opinion. And that would likely put us around that $72 area. So you could even start to scale in, right? DCA all the way. DCA all the way, baby. Just get some targets. Maybe enter some around 80, some around 75, some around 70. Set your stop under 65. Shut the laptop. Wait. Set a target. And also when you're setting targets for entries, set targets for exits, right? That's what people don't do too. I'm getting better at this DCAing and entries, but then they forget to set targets on the way up, and then they get complacent, and then it starts going down, and they're like, well, it'll go back up. And then it keeps going down more, and they're like, well, now I'm down so much I can't sell. And then it just keeps going down, and then you end up panic selling and losing all that money, right? So don't let that person be you. But yeah, we are daily oversold. But based on the POW algo alert, sell alert on NVDA, based on the broader market, I'd be very careful. We closed under the 10-week moving average. The stochastic and MACD are extremely bearish. And in terms of the weekly moving averages, we lost the 100 too. We closed below it last week. That's not good. So we do have the 200 weekly moving average there at $63. If we do lose 70, watch for a flush down around that 63 or 65 psychological. In terms of the daily moving averages, death cross. First time since March 2020. And we had the golden cross. Huge upside, right? Golden cross means we can expect more upside. Went from $83 after the golden cross. We went from $83 all the way up to $161. Now we have the death cross, which means a lot more downside. Look what happened after the death cross. We went from 115 all the way down to 88. So if you just know what death crosses and golden crosses are, you're probably well more equipped than a lot of retail investors. So like I said, just be very cautious on that one. Shiba Inu, again, I covered it earlier. If you put $1,000 into Shiba when it was first created, you'd be a billionaire. So how much is it really going to go up, right? If it's done that, how much is it really going to go up after that, right? So, I mean, it doesn't do anything. There's no utility. I guess you could say some people are accepting it for payment, but it doesn't really have any utility. It's just speculation. We could see a EMA 12 and 26 bear cross implying more downside, which if we did see that cross, watch for... Oh, that's the SHIB market cap. SHIB USDT. Basically same thing. But yeah, could see that EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. If that happens, watch for a drop to around the 1704, like 0.001704. If you're in the camp that you think this thing's going to go to $1 here before the end of the bull market, like I've got news for you, it's not. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, but just remember, if you put $1,000 into SHIB when it was first created, you'd be a billionaire here. So $1,000 into $1 billion, I think the more likely scenario is that we're going to go down for a while, right? So I'd be very, very cautious. If you're looking for entries, like I said, I'd put a stop below that 1704. You can start to scale in, like I said, DCA all the way, and set a stop as seen 1704. I wouldn't want to be in it because if you lose that, there's nothing until 510. So very, very careful on this one. Any names that you could have become a billionaire in 1 year off a $1,000 investment, you got to be careful, right? Super, super careful. Dan B, okay, awesome, thanks. Love the videos, much appreciated. You're welcome, thank you. You're welcome. Dan B, being from Canada, what am I trying to understand is who... Being from Canada, what I am trying to understand is who in the USA are able to invest in cannabis. Are Robinhood users able to invest in MSOs? Yeah, because they're on the CSC. Actually, no, I don't think you can own. If you're American, I don't think you can own. That's a good question. I'm kind of confusing myself now. The only reason why MSOs are able to trade publicly is because they're on the Canadian exchanges. And it's the same thing with the US, or with Canadians, vice versa. So Canadians, LPs, they're listed on the NASDAQ and the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. The only reason why they can list on those is because they don't have any operations within the US. So let's say Hexo or Tilray decided to, that's why Tilray can't acquire MedMen, and that's why Canopy can't acquire acreage until full-blown legalization at the federal level, because if they do, or if they have any kind of operations and they're found out about it, they'll be delisted from the NYSE automatically and the NASDAQ. So that's why MSOs are able to trade. I'd have to look into that, though. I don't think they can, but that'd be a good thing to look into. Whether or not Americans, they must be able to, because they must be able to, because everybody, there's people on my video oh no, they're probably doing OTC, over the counter. No, I don't think it can. I think it's all OTC. I'm pretty sure. That's something we'll have to look into. That's a great question. All right, I don't think we have anything left. I set out about an hour and we're almost at 2 hours. Not complaining though. I had an absolute blast. I do have a friend's birthday party to head to here in about 2 hours, and my phone's almost dead. So good reminder to plug that in. And yeah, I'm gonna go celebrate my friend's birthday, turning 26. You'll have a nice meal. They're definitely able to invest. Or you're talking about, let me read your message again. Trying to understand who in the USA are able to invest in cannabis. Are Robinhood users able to? Yeah, I think so. I don't use Robinhood, but yeah, they have to be able to, like OTC. Any broker would have OTC over the counter, right? Like pink sheets. And then, there's MSOS also, the ETF, which is on the, I think it's on the NASDAQ. And then, yeah, you have CSEs, right? Canadian, the CSE and the TSX. Building on your thesis of the crypto market, I believe once Robinhood investors are able to invest in cannabis, that would be a turning point for the retail U.S. investors to transition into MSOs. Yep, for sure. I'll have to look into that. That's a good question. I'm not sure about Robinhood. I'm pretty sure, though. I think Robinhood had Hexo like not even under the cannabis sector. Like if you went in Robinhood and searched by like sector, they didn't. It was like labeled under something else or something. Pretty sure someone said that about Hexo on Robinhood. So, and as far as I'm aware, you can't like. I think U.S. investors can buy like they can buy Hexo, right? Because it's on the NYSE. I think you're more asking about MSOs though. But they can invest on anything on the NYSE, on the NASDAQ, right? Because there's no actual operations in the U.S. And I got tons of people on my channel that say they're from the U.S. and they invested in Hexo. And the funny thing is they don't even know, they haven't tried any of their products. And then like I get people asking me if I can ship some of the drinks down to them of Hexo's Trust beverages. And I'm like, no, that's illegal. If they're not able to invest, that is just a rumor I had heard. Much appreciated. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, we'll have to look into it. I know quite a few people that are in the States, so I'll get a feel. I'll definitely get the answer for that for you. But yeah, they can definitely own the Canadian stocks, OTC. But in terms of big money, we haven't seen that. There's a reason why there was $2 billion traded in Tilray on that explosive move a couple weeks ago. It was about $2.5 billion, a billion with a B, traded in Tilray alone that day. And for comparative, to compare the two, TrueLeave, the leader that everybody says in the U.S. only had 12 or $13 million traded that day. Why? Because it's not on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. All these big financial institutions can't play yet. Robinhood has Hexo. Yeah, it does because it's on the NYSE or it's on the NASDAQ now. So any MSO, or if you want to buy an MSO and you're from the U.S., as far as I'm aware, you can buy OTC and anything like MSOS. You should be able to buy MSOS because it's ETF and it tracks all the cannabis companies that are on the CSE and the TSX, right? So if you're, and like I said, if you're American, you can own Canadian LPs that are on the NYSE and the NASDAQ, right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure Robinhood had Hexo, like not even under the cannabis sector. It's pretty funny. Yeah, especially for MSO. Yeah, so it's OTC, or you can buy MSOS, which is a ETF on pretty sure it's on the NASDAQ or NYSE. And that ETF has a basket of MSOs, so American US MJ. And those US American MJ holdings are on Canadian exchanges, right? So that's why they're able to get around it that way. Hopefully that makes sense. But in terms of can the people in the US buy direct on the CSE or the TSX? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah, body and mind. So you'd buy BMMJ is what you would do, I think, on the OTC if your broker has it. But BAM, I don't think is on Robinhood. I know it isn't on Wealthsimple in Canada. A lot of those lower cap, right? Micro cap. Kisan, thanks, bro. See you soon. You bet. All right, going to end it there. I see we still got quite a few people joining us here after almost 2 hours. So again, if you're one of those people that are here all the way to the end, and maybe you're watching this after the fact and you watch this all the way to the end, well, I can tell you one thing, that very, very confident that you're going to be a very, very successful investor or trader, whatever your goal is, just by putting in the work, right? And if you're here after 2 hours, you're most certainly putting in the work. Perfect. Absolutely. Going to end it there, guys. Thanks so much for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's a pleasure as always. If you could support me and help support the channel, it doesn't cost you anything. If you could smash the like, just absolutely destroy it. And then tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future live streams or uploads. And have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you likely. I might get a video out tomorrow. You never know. This keto diet, I've got more energy than I know what to do with. But no, definitely, you'll definitely hear from me on Monday. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.